You know, it's funny. I haven't done a video on this channel for a very long time. And I start recording one as a response. I get about 30 minutes in, and I realize I have to do it over again because I really wasn't collecting my thoughts. I was rambling. I was talking, and that was it. Initially, that's what I was doing. Now I'm going to be more collected on the second attempt. I want to address something that I've noticed in media these days. And I want to address specifically a video I was watching by a YouTuber named Jessie Gender. Lovely woman, wonderful channel. I love her content. I generally watch her Star Trek Discovery reviews, but I was watching a video of hers where she was telling people that she was describing the double standard that she views exists for the character Michael Burnham in Star Trek Discovery. Now, initially, I went on a huge ramble about everything and this, that, and the other thing, but succinctly, I like to say that Jesse, I think if you look at the community of Star Trek fans as a whole, you will see more of us that hold true to the vision of Gene Roddenberry than care about the gender, supposed gender, or a melanin count of a protagonist. Am I a Michael Burnham fan? No. I've seen a lot of media involving Michael, and I've come to the conclusion that, at least from what I've seen, she is too present. She might have more screen time by percentage in her series than Brent Spiner had in Star Trek The Next Generation. Now, Data, Brent Spiner, is in every single Star Trek episode, Star Trek The Next Generation episode, except for two. He's somewhere in there. Either he's in the background doing something, or he's the main focus, or he's a side focus, but somewhere Data's there. From what I've seen and what I've heard, Michael Burnham serves as this universal catalyst that drives the plot forward. The plot doesn't drive her, she drives the plot. And I think that might be what I don't like. And I don't see her blackness. I don't see her womanhood. What I see is someone who, if they were absent from Star Trek Discovery, there would be no show. Star Trek Discovery, from what I can see, is very much Michael Burnham's show with some side characters. Now, I know it's been done before to a point. Jim Kirk being the big example of this, but even in Jim Kirk's day, the original series, not the new one. I'll get to him in a minute. The old Jim Kirk, even though he sat in the captain's chair and got the most attention, his supporting cast, at least the main bridge crew, got their own storyline that took central focus. And I mean actual central focus. Like the original appearance of the Guardian of Forever. Leonard McCoy was basically the up until um really the very end was mostly the central focus of it, even if it was just Jim Kirk going after him. He was still ever present in the mind of the viewer as the main catalyst of this event. He went back in time because he was insane and then accidentally caused the Nazis to win World War II by saving the life of one Edith Keeler. Now, if this were done in, say, yes, Philippa Georgiou got her own stint with the Guardian of Forever. I get it. But Michael Burnham was driving this one. Michael Burnham brought her there. Michael Burnham was the one who first confronted the Guardian and who confronted him again after the fact. Michael Burnham was the one who put everything in place to get her there in the first place. Michael Burnham was the reason they got to the 31st century. If Michael Burnham weren't there, they would still be in the regular time. So I'm at a loss as to why or what the show would be without her. The other shows, I can picture it. What is Star Trek without Captain Kirk? Well, we have Pike. His original 5-year mission to look at for that. What is the Enterprise D without Captain Picard? Well, we saw that too in Measure of a Man, parts 1 and 2. And then we saw it again in the episode 4 Lights. That one, the one where he was tortured. We saw what Star Trek is without Captain Kirk. Captain Picard. What is, and then we kind of move into Deep Space Nine, where it really was the Cisco show. And no denigration on Ben Sisko or Avery Brooks. I love Avery Brooks. He's a good actor. I don't really like Ben Sisko. After a while, he was wonderful until he went a little crazy and used the biological warfare. But up until then, I mean, I liked him, but he also fell into this formula where the show couldn't be the show without him. And it's the same with Janeway and Archer and pretty much every captain after Picard. You really couldn't picture the show without them. There's no way to do it. And I say every captain because Michael Burnham is now the captain. And from my viewing Jessie's reviews of season 3, the only two other characters that have any three characters that have any actual relevance in season 3 that don't subvert old tropes to begin with is Saru, who has at least temporarily left at the end of season 3. Philippa Georgiou, who has at least temporarily left in the middle of season 3. Oh goodness, the human person who was joined with the Trill. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, I forgot their name. Anyway, them and Michael. They're the only ones of true consequence. Michael more than all the others because, well, her show. But I have, I'm sitting here. I'm being told by someone that I'm putting someone through a double standard, unfoundedly. And to be fair, Jessie does include herself in that universal blanket statement. We are all doing this. We are all being unfair. When we see Michael Burnham being taken down a peg or being lifted a peg. Well, I'm going to tell you, I'll tell you one thing. I don't see a double standard in this particular instance for the way I'm viewing things. I look at one of the examples she gave that made me make this video. When Michael Burnham performed something that I would see as a character killer. Really, she started a mutiny against the original Philippa Georgiou, the non-mirror universe version, and she said, "Well," Jessie said, "Well, if we let, if we had let, if Starfleet had let Michael Burnham do what she needed to do in that scenario, the Klingon War could have been averted." Jessie, Michael Burnham couldn't have succeeded then. You've just placed her in the category of never being able to succeed, and because no other Star Trek comes close to referencing her, she had to have been severely punished for her action. The punishment fit the narrative and fit the timeline. And this is one of the examples of a double standard where they should have just they shouldn't have punished her as hard. Do you know what they do to real life sailors who are sailors and stuff, and then who do mutiny? Michael Burnham is lucky to be alive, and is in the same position now at the end of season 3 as the only other Starfleet main Star Trek main captain, main character that performed a mutiny on their ship. Which is funny because he's the example that Jessie is putting forward as where the double standard comes from. Because it's the J.J. Abrams Jim Kirk. The J.J. Abrams Jim Kirk in the first new Star Trek movie tries to mutiny and gets his booty handed to him. He's thrown in the brig, yada yada yada, and eventually he's made captain. Michael Burnham does the same thing, has similar repercussions, and is now a captain. And has repeatedly gone against the chain of command and outside the box, which is fine. You know what? I mean, like, I don't know why anyone would get upset with a Star Trek character going, "I know these are the rules, or my ethics." That's the nature of Star Trek. Jim Kirk used to do that all the time in the original series. Picard did it less, but he did it. Janeway has that written all over her character. Some of Benjamin Sisko's defining moments were defined by that trope. So yeah, going outside the chain of command is one thing. Mutiny is another. Mutiny in the military is akin to active treason. And treason is the only offense the U.S. military still hangs people. Heck, the U.S. government does the same thing for people who have been convicted of treason against the U.S. That's the thing. It's not a double standard to watch someone commit a crime and be happy that their organization took umbrage with it. Was I happy at that moment? I mean, no, because I never watched it. I know about it because I catch up with it later. I don't watch the series itself because honestly, I watched the first episode and I didn't like the series. So I did what all people should do when they see something in front of them that is consumable media that they do not like or take offense to. I turned off my TV. I didn't watch it. Like I said, I've been keeping up on storylines and stuff by people like Jessie and clips and things like that, just to get a feel for what I'm talking about. But I'd like to ask Jessie something. Jessie, you seem to be as big a Star Trek fan as I am. I think you said I think I've heard you say you've watched all of them. I have also I'm sorry all of them. I've also watched all of them except for I think the last season of Enterprise and Discovery. Oh, I need to catch up on Picard. I need to watch Picard. I really love Picard. He is my favorite captain. But as a Star Trek fan, we are taught, and yeah, I'm waxing poetic right now, but Star Trek is a show normally the older one that is that is teaching us to live up to a very lofty ideal, to put aside color of skin, pointedness of ears, color of blood, gender, sexuality, uh, our very concept of life itself and race, species. I mean, we have been Star Trek fans have been sort of trained since starting to watch it to not see these things, and I don't know why any fan would hate Michael Burnham because of her color and because of her gender. Now I know Jesse's going to say, "Oh, I'm sorry." I don't know what Jesse's going to say if she ever says anything, but I'm going to assume that what is going to be the response to that particular notion is, well, but it exists in your subconscious. Okay. There's a lot of things that exist in my subconscious, not all of them double standards and demonizing people. You know what else exists in my subconscious? All the lessons I learned from Star Trek. It's why I can walk up to someone on the street, black, white, yellow, red, doesn't matter, and say, "Hi, how you doing?" Shake their hand. It doesn't matter to me. You know, but apparently because I'm a Star Trek fan and I am publicly saying I do not like Michael Burnham, I have to be using a double standard. By proxy, by what Jessie said in her video. Well, that's kind of bunk. And I'd love to have a conversation about this with, well, number one, commenters. Number two, Jessie. If you ever see this, I wouldn't mind having a conversation with you about it because it's a unique topic. Yes, every Star Trek is made for the era that it's being filmed in. You're right. But there are certain conceits we have to remember with the characters and the setting and the universe as a whole. And I personally believe that while subversion is okay, overt obliqueness or outright ignoring those standards is not okay. And I feel personally, from what I've heard you say in your reviews and what I've seen in clips watching clips on YouTube, I don't think Michael Burnham really lives up to those standards that the show before it has put upon her. And I'm a person that saw when there was a you were talking about in season 3 episode 12 where she ejected Stamets into space, well, into the Federation bubble in an emergency capsule. I see her validation for that. She did the right thing. She got the most important asset of the Discovery crew off the Discovery ship and into the hands of the organization who could save him, despite what he thought. And in all honesty, I disagree with your affirmation of his correctness for his screaming at Michael for doing so. I disagree with you. I feel she was well within her rights to do what she did. She was correct to do so, and he really had no right to say what he said to her. In fact, I feel that Stamets was being directly hurtful to Michael with the statements he made. By playing on the fact that, like you said, she's a responsibility hoarder. So he screams at her, "We came to the future for you, so you wouldn't be alone. And you're doing this to me?" That was a very selfish and ignorant statement on his part. And personally, I disagree with you for saying that he was correct to say it. But that's another discussion for another time. Right now, I'm just kind of trying to tell you that I personally believe that there are far more fans of Star Trek, at least ones who have stuck with it from the beginning or from wherever they started to now, who follow more of Gene Roddenberry's vision of universal acceptance and moving forward from a starting point of equality than there are the Twitterite ranters and ravers who just don't see characters, they see stereotypes. So you all have a nice day. Jesse, you also have a nice day. And again, I'm not unsubscribing or anything. I love your content. I will keep watching your content. You have a lovely day. And if you ever want to talk about this video, just let me know. Have a nice day.